Hello everyone, what's up warrior students? Today I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea on how you can play your DPS warrior on level 40 in Season of Discovery Phase 2. This is basically part 2 of the Theorycrafting guide. We already had part 1 and a lot of people asked me to do a part 2 now that we know the runes. I don't really know if we really know all the runes, but I'm going to assume that I look here and we have 3 we already have discovered, and then we have those 3 with a question mark. I hope that it's confirmed that these 3 are going to be in the game. I hope this is confirmed because obviously this would change everything. If this all of a sudden wouldn't be there, this would be really bad for me, or for you in this case as well, because this is basically our new bread and butter rune for DPS. I'm going to explain why. So first up, you will have 2 ways that you can play. This is arms and fury, and both with a 2-hand. Now, why is one-hander not really good anymore? I mean, I don't know how good it really is or how much better 2-hand really is, but I'm pretty sure that 2-hand is going to be on top, and this has one main reason, and this is because our leg rune got nerfed significantly, and now we only get a 10% damage boost instead of the 20% before. And this leg rune is like the rune both 2-hand and 1-hander used in phase 1. Now 1-handers only have this option remaining, and yeah, this option got nerfed pretty heavily. 2-handers on the other hand have this option as well, which is a lot stronger than consumed by rage. So in the legs we are going to select this no matter what. If we play a 2-hander, remember that you can always play dual wield if you want, and it might even be better this phase, but this is like my prediction, and I also did a little bit of simming, and yeah, 2-hander was just a lot better in the things I tried. And yeah, but no pressure, the game is really easy, and the most important thing is that you have fun, because the person who has the most fun is always the person who wins at the end of the day. So yeah, keep that in mind. You will kill anything anyways, no matter what you play, as long as it makes sense. So this would be the way you want to go with like your arms talents. The best weapon in this phase for 2-hand is going to be an axe, so that's really good for orcs and that's really good for arms. For runes, you would go with flagellation, because flagellation is extremely overpowered, and yeah, I'm afraid this is going to get nerfed as well, which is really sad, and yeah, not a really good design choice, I think, because if you play an RPG, you want to get stronger and stronger the more you play and the more gear you obtain. So let's say I raid for 1 ID and I get 2 upgrades, so I deal like 10% more damage, and next week on the next reset my flagellation rune gets nerfed and put to a 10% damage bonus, so I lost all my progress and I'm doing the same damage that I did before. This goes against, or this removes the thing that I think is what it is most fun for me about playing RPGs, and yeah, it's like really bad. And okay, this we are going to do later. What we have here, feet doesn't really matter. This one can be mobility. Mobility is a lot of the time uptime, and uptime is damage. So if you want to deal the most damage, you would probably go for intervene, but Rallying Cry is obviously a raid support, so it would be superior in my opinion, and Raged Regen is for your own survivability, which I don't know if you will really need it in a classic raid on level 40, but if you do, yeah, obviously this is great. Intervene can also be used to reduce the target's threat, no? Intercepting melee range, so as reducing the total threat by 10%, yeah. Yeah, as a warrior, you are most likely the person who is second on threat, so this effect from Intervene is not going to be very useful. So, and now the bread and butter comes in. This is the bread, Blood Surge, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, and Whirlwind gives us a 30% chance to make our next slam an instant spell that costs no rage. Slam hits like a truck, if you see here, it's an instant weapon attack plus 43. So it's not quite as good as Mortal Strike, but it's really close, and it costs only 15 rage, or in our case even 0 rage. We don't have Bloodthirst though, but this is not a problem because in Hands we're actually not going to use Endless Rage, because we are not going to need Endless Rage. We're going to use Quick Strike. Why are we not using Endless Rage, or why are we not? Why don't we need it? Because we have Frenzied Assault that gives us 20% more attack speed, so this is a lot of rage we get here. The gear we have is kinda crazy for that level, like an epic two-handed weapon and all this hit gear and stuff. This is why warriors are not really that rage starved anymore, especially if you have like wild strikes, what you should, then rage isn't really a problem anymore. So Quick Strike here to get more Blood Surge procs, because Blood Surge reads that Heroic Strike has a 30% chance, and Quick Strike reads that it benefits and triggers all effect associated with Heroic Strike. This is associated with Heroic Strike, so yeah, Quick Strikes will feed us instant slam procs. Yeah, the benefit of arms is that we have Mortal Strike and that we have things like two-handed specialization, which gives us 5% more damage, and we can lower the rage cost of Heroic Strike. We get a little bit more crit for overpower, a little bit, 50% even, and impale. But the problem is that deep runes will not affect the mechanical bosses in the raid, which makes the arms weaker against single target situations where you fight mechanical mobs. So if you are in a single target boss fight against a mechanical, arms is worse than your fury option. However, if there are like periodic add spawns, like let's say every 45 seconds or 30 seconds there will be mobs adding to the fight, you can use sweeping strikes to get some huge damage. So yeah, we don't have dual spec, so you have to basically choose one spec for the raid, and I don't know how the bosses work, like if you have more bosses with adds or not. I know that there will be one boss that is not immune to bleed, but all the other bosses should be immune. And so for one boss this is already better, and I think this boss will probably spawn adds. It's maybe going to be an add fight even. And yeah, if there are any more fights with adds, arms is a really solid choice, maybe even the best choice, but you don't have to go for arms. You can also go for your big single target pump fury boy here. And yeah, how you want to spec that, we don't need slam. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So again, we could spec into booming voice to give us yeah, more duration on improved battle shout, or on battle shot I mean. So this could mean that we need to cast less battle shouts in one fight, which is a good benefit, but it could also mean nothing. So if the bosses are more than 2 minutes long, then maybe booming voice is good. So, but improved intercept is uptime, like I said before, uptime is damage, and therefore improving your intercept is going to be a good choice for personal DPS. And this would be your Fury variant. Same runes, different talents, and a different damage profile. A little bit more execute phase damage, a lot more attack speed. Like with this build, you absolutely escalate on the foe. I mean, you have 30% here, you have 20% here, and if you're a good boy, you have the world buff up for another 20% or 10%. I saw both on the internet. One said 10, one said 20. I don't know. Let's say it's 15. So yeah, you get a shit ton of attack speed here. With your two-hander, and more attack speed means more rage, so more quick strikes. More attack speed means more heroic strikes, because the amount of heroic strikes you cast is connected to your rage generation and your attack speed, and both of which are really high. With a lot of attack speed, a lot of rage gen, so therefore you get a lot of heroic strikes, and therefore you get a lot of blood surge procs. So one thing that might not be super obvious is what stances do you want to use. So in Fury you would stay in Berserker stance for the most part. I think in arms obviously as well. The problem with Fury is it is a little bit clunky to swap and use, for example, an overpower, because in a lot of situations this could gain a little bit of DPS. Like if you see a dodge, you swap to battle stance and you use overpower. The problem is if you lose too much rage from the swap to the stance and the swap back to your primary stance, then you lose a lot of quick strikes, you lose a lot of heroic strikes, and therefore you lose a lot of slam procs. And this is something you you can't afford. So you can only really swap stances on your Fury tree if it's a really clean swap back and forth. And yeah, for arms you have tactical mastery, so this means that you can have really nice windows to swap stances for overpower, but you also more depend on the swap, because you already invested into improved overpower, you invested into tactical mastery, so you actually want to swap with arms. I think sweeping strikes is only battle stance, so for sweeping strikes you have to swap at least a couple of times. If you are in battle stance, you want to go in Berserker stance as soon as possible, because you get crit in Berserker stance and battle stance earns you nothing. And one really important thing is that Whirlwind is also only available in Berserker stance, so even though you are arms, your primary stance is going to be Berserker stance with that 3% more crit chance and also 10% more damage taken, which sounds bad, but it's actually good, because 10% more damage taken means that you also will generate more rage from damage taken. So yeah, 5 head. Good, so yeah, that's it about the stance swapping thingies. And yeah, this is just like my first idea on what I think is going to work best, and then I zimmed all that stuff a little bit back and forth, swapped a couple of talents, swapped a little bit of gear and whatnot, and this was like the best I was able to find, and in my mind it also works best. So I'm pretty confident in this, but I cannot say that this is really going to be the best build, especially not for all bosses and all scenarios. But it's going to be, if you don't have an idea yourself, or then this is going to help you a lot. I'm doing this video because I haven't found a good guide on this topic myself. I wasn't planning to do a video because I'm not playing phase 2, and I'm going to tell you why. But yeah, I don't want to leave you guys with the guides that are out there, because they were pretty just incorrect. So here you have your thing. Maybe I'm going to play the next phase, but this phase I'm not going to play, and the reason is because they basically took out my favorite build, which would be to play with slam casting, and yeah, they basically disabled that or made it unviable because Blood Surge is there, and the other options you have is precise timing. There it goes. Which also makes your slam instant. So I don't know why we have two options that make your slam instant and no option that maybe increase your slam damage by 20% if you cast it or something. Like, it's really strange to me, and I feel like alienated by Blizzard. Like, there's a community that enjoys this playstyle, and it is the classic playstyle. I don't know why you would go ahead and just destroy that part of Warrior, because at the end of the day, casting a melee attack is like really flavorful, and like pretty much one of the few things Warrior has that makes him special. Like, Warrior has Rage that makes him special, Warrior has stances that makes him special, and Warrior has things like casting Slam that makes him really special. And yeah, I don't know why you would take something away that adds flavor and instead put like something in that is recycled. Like, a lot of the runes are recycled and not really creative. Not all of them. For example, Consumed by Rage, I don't think I have ever seen this one in the game before. But Flagellation also. But a lot of the things are like actually recycled, and I think that's really cheap. And that if I would create a rune, I would try to give like the class a little bit more flavor. For example, I would give you 10% more damage when you swap to Battle Stance for 10 seconds, and then you get 5% more crit damage when you swap to Berserker Stance for 10 seconds, and you get 20% more rage generation when you swap to Defensive Stance for 10 seconds. And then you have like your rune that calls itself Stance Mastery, and gives adds to the Warrior flavor. And this would be for me like a really good rune design. But this is like mostly recycled stuff that, in my opinion, takes away flavor instead of actually creating something unique and fun. Okay, but that's it for this video. I hope you learned something, and I hope these informations are going to be useful to you, and I hope I don't like, if you have fun with the game and you think the flavor of spamming big hitting abilities against your opponents and getting a lot of procs of Slam is cool and fun, this is perfectly fine. Like, I don't want to take that away from you. And yeah, we will see each other in the next one. And until then, stay tuned, take care.